Hi, I'm Jay Thomas from jthomasauto.ca, and I've got a really cool story to share with you tonight. I am actually in Warman, Saskatchewan. We're right here in the middle of September right now. It's a little chilly, but it's such a great story. I came out for this because it's so cool to talk about. So right now we're going to meet a guy named Bart, and him and his wife Lisa have been on the road for quite some time from Medicine Hat, Alberta. So come over with me. Bart, it's great to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jason.
We've been talking, and I'm so excited about this story. So tell me, you've been on the road in what you call Stella, and we'll get to who Stella is, and you can introduce me a little bit. But you've been on the road for quite a while now. So tell me about this road trip you've been on.
It's been 10, 11 days. We started on a road trip, and the theme of it was to recreate a journey that happened in 1934 with the Fair family. You can kind of see, this is the inspiration for the journey.
Okay.
This picture. This is the Fair family. This is a photo taken downtown Edmonton, 1934. Abraham Fair had gone to farm. He'd farmed in Hague in 29, 30, 31, and 32, and he's dried out. So then he heads up to Peace River, Alberta, and he farms 33 and 34, and he's frosted out. So he's on his way back to Hague. And this photo, a journalist takes it downtown Edmonton, and really it became the iconic photo of the Depression. This photo.
Absolutely.
So this was the role model for the journey.
Right. Okay, so you started from where?
Medicine Hat.
Medicine Hat.
Right. And then we went to Leader and Swift Current and Hodgeville, Moose Jaw, Elbow, Davidson, Kenniston, Outlook, Delisle, Pike Lake, and Warman.
And Warman. Here we are in Warman. So now this is a 1926?
This is a 26 Chevrolet Superior V.
Where'd you find the car? Where'd you get it?
Well, this car came out of Victoria, BC, but it was restored in 1960, and it was sold brand new in Davidson, and it was restored in Davidson in 1960. And then it stayed around Saskatchewan most of its life, and then 12 years ago it went to Victoria.
Okay.
And I found it there, and I bought it for the trip.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you planned that a little while ago.
This has been 3 years.
3 years in the running
3 years of planning for the trip.
for the whole trip.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but you stayed off of some of the main highways. You used some of the older highways that would have been around when he took this journey too, right?
It was all back roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course, that has a lot to do with the fact that this car does what? How many? What's the speed you safely travel at on the highway?
Oh, there's no safely speed on this car. Yeah, this car goes 45, 50 kilometers an hour.
45 to 50 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in miles, you must have a mile per hour speedometer in this thing?
25 to 30.
25 to 30 is where
Yeah.
you keep it, and
Yeah.
it does okay.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what have you been driving it up that top limit, or do you keep it around 20, or is that comfortable?
You know what? If you owned a car this vintage, you would find out you don't tell the car where it drives, you find its sweet spot,
Yep.
and you drive it right there.
I mean, we're talking wooden wheels.
Wooden wheels.
Wooden wheels. Bias ply, old narrow tires,
Yep.
right? And gearing. You have to double clutch in and
Double
out
clutch.
every gear, right?
Every gear,
Yeah.
double clutch, 26 horsepower. So this car, it decides if it wants to go 22 miles per hour that day or 23. It decides.
But then the other story, the other half of going somewhere is stopping somewhere.
Yeah.
So early automobiles didn't have great brakes. I mean, some of them had just mechanical brakes. Is that what's on this?
This is mechanical brakes.
Okay.
No, 26 and 27 Chevrolets and the previous only had rear brakes.
Okay.
As you notice, there's no front brakes, and by 28 they put front on.
So these are drums, right?
Yeah, but this is the dangerous part about 26s, is the shoe is mounted on the outside of the drum.
No way.
So what happens with the shoe is it squeezes onto the drum. That sounds like a good idea till it rains.
Because it's not protected by the drum, inside the drum, it's outside the drum.
So the water clings on, and then the braking gets really horrible in the water when it rains.
Wow.
So when you learn to drive this car, the emergency brake is in the inside of the drum and squeezes out like you would think it to.
A normal brake
A
would.
normal brake. So if you're in trouble on a stopping and you're pushing your pedal and it's not stopping, you reach over and grab the emergency and you do both at the same time.
And then you usually can come to a stop?
Well, yeah, you're not going that fast, and you should be driving with a lot of caution. So
Yeah.
you'll get it stopped.
So, I mean, even when they're not wet, though, I imagine this is brake
Oh, it's horrible.
hundreds of yards before you
Oh.
normally would in a modern car, right?
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. Yeah.
Can you even lock them up?
No.
No, there's no locking these brakes up.
I have never locked them up.
No.
No, and I pushed as hard as I can.
With all the force you've got, and
I can lock them up.
and that's it. Yeah.
Nope.
So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, so your viewers know this is an old era.
that's right. Totally. That's great. Can you open the hood for me and show me what's under the hood of this thing?
Sure.
Because here's the thing, I know cars, you know, from the 50s and 60s and up until now. I know some newer stuff. I love this old stuff, but I don't know a lot about them. So what is that? It's a 4-cylinder, obviously.
Yeah, 144 cc's, 26 horsepower.
Okay. Single carburetor.
Single carburetor. This motor, anybody with mechanical knowledge, it doesn't throw oil from the bottom to the top. It just splashes oil in the crankcase.
Okay, yep.
In the top of the engine, you have to take this valve cover off and you have to oil the top of the engine manually.
How often?
Every 50 to 80 hours, depends on how it's running.
Oh, wow, okay.
So you refill it. And you can't see if it's empty, you just have to do it.
And so it's a bath that sits there and kind of
Yep.
sloshes around inside of that.
And it drips all the way down the engine, you can
Yep.
see, and then it empties itself and you refill it.
And you refill it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And is there even an oil filter on it?
No oil filter.
No oil filter, so it's just dump the dirty oil and keep going.
Yeah, no oil filter.
It is liquid cooled, obviously,
Yeah.
and you run antifreeze in this, or does it
Sure.
run just water?
No, it's antifreeze. Yeah.
I see you've got, now I don't remember the fancy name for these things, but your little
It's a temperature gauge.
temperature gauge,
Yeah,
basically,
it's a temperature
right?
gauge.
That's very cool. A grease gun on the front that comes in handy pretty often, probably, right?
Yeah, that's not for show.
No.
That's for daily use.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
You're using that every day.
So there's grease nipples basically on all the suspension components that you
Everywhere.
have to do daily in
Well,
driving it like this, right?
I can get away with a couple days in the suspension, but there's some parts in the transmission are every day.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So this actually has 2 leaf springs. I know Ford back then did a transverse leaf spring, a single one,
Oh, this
right?
guy knows what he's talking about.
So, but this actually was kind of a little bit ahead of that. This actually has independent leaf springs, right?
Right. Ford had Model A's had leaf strings like that, and this car, Chevys were built with independent leaf strings. You're
Right.
Yep.
Right. So that makes the ride just a little bit better, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Still no shocks. It's still bouncy. Like it'll bounce away and wiggle on you.
Right, because yeah, they hadn't put
No
shocks, shock absorbers on cars like this just yet at that point in history, right? Okay, so headlights. You actually have. Did they actually do any work? Did they really work?
Well, they work, but honestly, you couldn't read a book at nighttime with these headlights. They're horrible. I just want to show you one thing before we go.
For sure.
This is a real cool license plate to get. Because the famous photo that you looked at was 1934. I got a 34, and the year the Depression started was 29.
Well, look at that.
Yeah, that was pretty good find.
That's pretty awesome.
I was pretty happy with that plate.
That is amazing. Okay, walk me inside and take me over here and show me some of the controls, because unlike a modern car, you know, this you have to change the spark, advance and retard the spark on this thing, right?
Right.
And all kinds of different controls you don't see in a modern car these days.
Oh no, no fuel gauge, no temperature gauge while it's on the hood.
Right.
No heaters, crank windows, no signal lights, no side mirror.
You have one rear view mirror,
That's
I see.
it. That's all you got.
And there is a wiper on it, but it's a manual wiper.
No.
Oh, that has a motor.
No, that crank actually is your air conditioning. It raises my front window up about that high.
Oh, is that ever cool?
Yeah, that is it's from vacuum pressure in the motor, the white roller.
Oh, it actually, okay, so it actually has some
A little
movement,
bit.
a little bit of
A little
movement
bit
by
of movement,
itself.
yeah, but not great. No.
Okay, I know you did a little bit of a video about how you actually get this thing started. You check your oil, go through all that. You check your gas manually with a stick that you've got.
Yeah.
You measure that, right?
That's right. Use a stick for checking the gas.
And then what's the procedure after that? You have to retard the spark, right?
This one retards the spark pleasing.
Okay, the first one.
Turn the key on. Then the starter button's the farthest to the right.
Yep.
And as soon as it'll fire, it'll start. We'll retard the spark back off.
Oh, okay.
And then it's running.
It's a 3-speed manual.
3-speed manual.
Now, you were showing us too that first is down low like this.
Correct.
Reverse is what? Up to the left?
Up and to the right.
Up and to the right, okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, did you say reverse?
Yeah, reverse.
Oh,
is
reverse. Up and to the left. Correct.
First is down,
Second,
and then third is straight down.
and you're
okay.
and you're at the end of the road.
And that's your park brake too.
Yeah,
Right?
park brake.
Wow. This thing is in incredible shape too, though.
Yeah.
Just looking at it, it's amazing. The windows, do they all roll down?
Yes, all roll down.
So all sets of them actually roll down.
This car the reason it was so hard to find is in 1926 this car was $825 and a 2-door was $595. So most people bought 2 doors.
Wow.
And the second reason is this car, Jason, if you feel up in here, you'll feel the wood in the roof. You can feel wood. It's got wood in the roof.
Oh, sure.
Feel the
Yeah,
slab.
okay.
It's got wood in the roof. It's got, oh, I can't pull the door frame apart. It's got wood in the door.
Yep.
And there's wood between the body and the frame. There's a chunk of wood in there. So most of the cars were decayed after 20, 30 years. They were gone.
Right. Who knows what kind of shape this was in when it was restored in the 60s? We don't really know that. I mean, somebody may have taken something that was almost disintegrated and put it back together then, right? Or do you know that it was still a complete car in the 60s?
I know it was a complete car, but all the wood was soft. So all the wood got replaced in this car in 1960.
Okay. Yeah. But even then, 1960s is a long time ago now too. So that's already antique.
68 years.
Antiquity just in the restoration of this car. Okay, come around to the back and show me some stuff back here. So you've got a spare tire. But I notice it's on just a metal steel
Well, yeah, what
sort of rim, right?
you just pop it off. See the 4 bolts on the rim?
Yep.
You leave your rim on. You pop just the outside edge off.
Oh, you actually leave the wooden spokes right on.
That all stays on. You just pop that. That's why you interchange with that.
Right. So there's really no balancing a wheel in that case, though, is there?
No, there's no balance.
No, it just goes around. Okay, so it did have a brake light originally, right?
Yeah.
And you added this guy up here for this trip just to be a little safer, because it's a little easier to see that.
Yeah.
And you've got this rack with your tools and some extra gas and all the supplies you might just need.
Yeah.
Have you had to do any repairs yet along the way?
A speedometer cable broke near Shackleton. I had a fellow TIG welded in Swift Current, and a carburetor trouble in Moose Jaw, and that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
So a car from 1926 has been driving all this way.
It has. It's done really well.
It's done really well,
Yeah.
has it ever?
Yeah.
On one set of tires?
Oh, for sure. This
Right?
is the same set of tires.
Same set of tires?
Yeah.
That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. What a phenomenal car and story, and what a phenomenal thing to do, for you guys.
I know.
To be going all this way and driving like this. So.
I know, it's been an adventure. This
Totally.
is named after I have a good friend, my neighbor Herb Dunn. This is his wife. She was born in 1916. She passed away now, but we've called the car after her.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why it got named Stella.
Absolutely fantastic.
I think it's the right name too.
Yeah, it's the right era for this car. It's perfect for that.
Yeah.
Well, Bart, it's been fantastic meeting you and getting to know Stella and meet and see this all. So thank you very much for joining me here.
You guys, thanks. Thanks for showing me your Buick.
Awesome, you bet. For more videos like this, go to jthomasauto.ca. We're going to have more of this coming up soon. You can find all things car on the website there too.